Every public land hunter I know has lived this moment. You do everything right, you get up early, you beat the sunrise, you make the drive thinking you're ahead of the curve, and then you turn into the parking lot and it's already full. Trucks lined up shoulder to shoulder, tailgates down, people getting geared up in the dark, headlamps bobbing in every direction. You walk in and immediately start crossing boot tracks, fresh ones, some from this morning, some from the day before. Trails that look more like footpaths than deer travel. And it's frustrating. Not because there aren't any deer there, but because you already know how this story usually ends. In Northwest Indiana, public land pressure is a constant. The same handful of well-known properties get hit hard year after year. Opening weekend, gun season, late season, it never really lets up. Deer don't disappear under that pressure. They adapt. They change when they move, where they move, how visible they are, but most hunters don't change with them. They keep hunting the same way, same spots, same access, same assumptions. And that gap between how deer adapt and how hunters don't is where opportunity lives. All right, well, you can probably tell by the way I'm dressed. We are in the balmy Midwest in December. So, it is the last weekend of muzzleloader. I got one doe tag left, so we're gonna have a little fun with the bow. See if we can't shoot one from the ground. I was gonna say something. I completely forgot what it was. Shoot one from the ground. I don't know, bub. Now I'm not gonna be able to stop thinking about it, wondering what it was. Anyways, we're gonna sit here. I can see pretty good here. I got, I don't know, probably 100 acres, 150 acres. I can see across this cut, corn, and a couple soybean fields. I haven't seen anything, heard a shot this morning. And probably give it another, see if we can't shoot one of these big Indiana nannies. I feel like we're gonna catch one exposing themselves. Just getting the information of where they are moving, where they're at. You know, it's the end of the year. We got 2 weeks left of the season, so they're already had a lot of pressure put on them, and in preparation of years where I do have a tag this late, because I'm sure it's gonna happen. A buck get out here and kind of save one tag for the end of the year to see how it's going, you know, see what's going on, see what's happening. I like to know, I mean, I scout year round, but I like to know what's going on. That way I can find deer when I need to find deer. Been sick the last few days, so I have not had boots on the ground, so I'm a little bit out of touch, but we're gonna fix that this morning. For a long time, I thought the solution was finding something better. Bigger tracts of public land, more remote places, something farther off the beaten path. But the truth is, everyone else is thinking the same thing. So you end up trading one crowded parking lot for another, just with a longer drive. What finally changed things for me was realizing that I was asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, where's the best public land, I started asking, what public land are most hunters ignoring? That shift reframes everything. The best public land isn't hidden. It's ignored. Ignored because it doesn't look impressive on a map. Ignored because access is awkward. Ignored because it doesn't match what people picture when they think of good deer hunting. Once you see that, you stop chasing hotspots and start finding opportunity where other people stop looking. All right, so I lied to you. I keep wanting to put my hood up over my hunter's orange. I feel like if I can see a couple 100 acres and I'm not seeing a deer, I'm gonna go find something else to do. I have the attention span of a squirrel on crack, so pretty normal for me. I swear that looks like a deer over there. There's gotta be a deer on that ditch line. For sure. I thought I saw him earlier. It may have seen me. Oh, Lord. there. Hard to tell. But I'm pretty sure we can get up to that next ditch. Take a look. Yeah, the contrast is good. Oh, geez, Louise. Honestly, that looks like looks too much like a deer not to try to get up to that next patch of woods. Worst thing that's gonna happen is we're gonna jump it up. So, let's go. That's where the idea of satellite public land comes in. When I say satellite property, I'm talking about small, disconnected public parcels, usually somewhere between 70 and 200 acres. These are pieces that don't anchor a hunt. They orbit it. They might be tucked behind farm fields, squeezed between private ownership, sitting in floodplain ground that's wet half the year, or cut apart by rail lines, utility corridors, or ditches. Some have timber, some are mostly grass and brush. Some don't even feel like they should be huntable at first glance. A lot of these parcels exist because of old land acquisitions or conservation easements, not because someone designed them for hunting. And because of that, they don't get marketed. They don't get talked about. They don't get pins dropped on them. But deer don't care why a property exists. They care how it functions. And functionally, these small parcels can provide everything a mature deer needs, especially when they're overlooked. I still want to say that's a deer. It's got to be a deer. 306 yards. I kind of think it's a couple deer. Well, it was 3 deer. I couldn't tell, so. The reasons hunters ignore satellite parcels are usually pretty simple. There's no clean access point, no big parking lot, no obvious trail. You might have to walk a mile along a fence line just to hunt 80 acres. You might step out of the truck and immediately think, this doesn't feel worth it. Sometimes there aren't any good trees to hang in. Sometimes the ground is wet or uneven. Sometimes the cover looks sparse or messy. And mentally, that creates doubt. Most hunters want confirmation before they commit. Signs, trails, rubs, other trucks in the lot. When those things aren't there, they assume the deer aren't either. When those things aren't there, they assume the deer aren't either. But that assumption is exactly what keeps pressure low. These parcels don't filter hunters by skill. They filter by willingness. Willingness to walk farther, willingness to adapt, willingness to hunt differently. And deer respond to that willingness by using these places more consistently and with less stress. That's the opportunity satellite public land offers. Not because it's perfect, but because it's passed over. So those deer just made a big, giant semicircle now. And they're gonna go back into this other piece of public. So they ran all the way around onto the private, and they're cutting back into the public. They're gonna go bed on that road line right there on private. So, whoops. Obviously that was not a well planned out or well executed stalk, but I knew it was a deer. I didn't want to sit here forever waiting on it to move, and I was pretty sure it had seen me by that point. So for video purposes, I wanted to at least try to make a move on it. So Thought there was a chance I'd get lucky and it'd hold tight, you know, within 30 or 40 yards, or maybe it didn't see me. I didn't realize there was 3 of them there, but as soon as I got even with that ditch line, they were pretty much on me like white on rice. But that's what I find a lot in late season, is they're on these ditch lines and these exposed areas just laying there. You can see right there, they don't really have anywhere to go. They're kind of just waiting to get back in that ditch line, it looks like. So they are headed right back for the ditch. They're just going to a different part of it. So we'll take this little bit of information and do what we can with it. You know, a blown stalk to gather information is probably more valuable than killing the deer. Now they're heading back in the direction they came from. Yeah, they don't know what to do. You know, they're literally running back the way they just came. One of the biggest mistakes hunters make when e-scouting is focusing only on traditional deer habitat. Timber, big cover, thick bedding, all of that matters. But on small public land, non-obvious features often matter more. Drainage ditches are a perfect example. To a hunter, they look like nothing. To a deer, they're travel corridors that provide concealment, elevation change, and consistent movement routes through open ground. Railroad right-of-ways function the same way. They create edge, they concentrate movement, and because trains are loud but predictable, deer learn to tolerate them. Floodplain ground is another overlooked feature. When it's wet, pressure disappears. When it dries out later in the season, deer are already comfortably using it. Utility corridors force deer to cross open areas at specific points. Those crossings become natural funnels, especially during late season movement. When you stack these features together, even a small parcel starts to function like a much larger property. The map doesn't look impressive, but the movement makes sense. So I was sitting right over here one time. I was watching a bean field, probably August, I would say. Deer had antlers. Her growing antlers were in velvet, obviously. So I was watching this bean field and I looked over in this direction. I was not expecting anything to be out here. And looked over in this direction and saw the tips of some velvet tines coming through the grass. And I must have got about 3 seconds of a view of this deer, this buck. And I mean, a lot of them look really big in velvet. So he looked big in velvet. It looked like he had a bunch of stickers and some trash. And good Lord, I've seen quite a few bucks. Probably, I think most I saw was, I want to say almost 20 bucks in one afternoon out here. And then EHD came in, hit pretty hard, found a decent buck, 130 something inch buck, dead last year. And a couple little bucks, I'm sure some other older bucks died, but yeah, I didn't really hunt this place that hard this year, but doesn't seem to have bounced back from that just yet. So it may seem like I'm a little picky when it comes to shooting animals as far as the size of bucks and age and so on and so forth, but that's just because I get one buck tag, you know. If I'm only getting one, I'm going to use it on a nice one because they usually take a pretty lengthy amount of time to kill. With a full-time job, you're probably looking at 4 to 5 weekends of solid hunting, like no effing around, getting straight out there Saturday after work, getting in a tree, hunting all day Saturday till you can't hunt anymore. Same thing on Sunday. And it does not have to be a ton of effort in one sense, but you've got to spend some time and you've got to know how they're moving. And you know, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. You know, I have an Alabama education, and granted, I probably went to one of the best elementary schools in my area at the time. I had the best elementary teachers, but probably the only thing that saved me. But that being said, looks like a deer right there. Hold on. When I think about public land hunting, I don't just think about the season. I don't just think about this season. I think about what kind of hunting opportunities will exist 10, 20, 30 years from now. I think about the hunters who will come after us. Kids, grandkids, new hunters just getting started, and what kind of example we're setting for them. The land remembers how we treat it. If we overhunt it, exploit it, and broadcast every overlooked corner for short-term attention, it stops being special. But if we hunt with intention, protect fragile ground, and share knowledge responsibly, public land stays wild. Big bucks don't require big public land. They require overlooked land. They require discipline. They require respect. The best public land in Indiana isn't hidden. It's ignored. And it's our responsibility to keep it that way. Because what we leave behind matters just as much as what we take home.